Yeah, now we talking. Yep, London, a place that I've never been that I've always wanted to be.
You
Uh,
have to come, 100%.
yeah, most definitely. Well, thanks for the invite, and I'm on my way. But in the meantime, I'm gonna play a little bit of her reel just to let you know a little bit about Natalie, and then we're gonna get right to it. So here we go.
Okay.
Red, a red light, when a red, a red light. Red, a red light, when a red, a red light. You're like the poltergeist. Keep coming into my life, turn me upside down. Damn, boy. I'm caught in the middle. Got half a mind to walk away, but baby, see, I got no soul without you. Listen when I say, boy, you gave me these battle scars, and they're running into my heart. Yeah, it's a crying shame, it's gotta be this way, my love. Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Is this love that I'm feeling tonight that I feel for you? Is this love? Am I dreaming? Yeah. Is this love tonight?
All right. You have me grooving. Is this love? Okay. Now we talking. Yeah. So welcome again. And Natalie, yeah, I'm glad to have you on. We appreciate the opportunity. You said that it is 6 p.m. there. So
It is.
yeah, so we're gonna get right to it. Just to let you know a little bit about Natalie, with an arsenal of genre-bending singles under her belt, London-based powerhouse pop star Nathalie Miranda performs straight from the heart, blending soul, blues, and classic rock into high-energy retro pop. Natalie rocks out the unbridled passion, showcases a stellar octave range, and leaves it all on the stage. Influenced by such artists as Freddie Mercury, Prince, Madonna, Tina Turner, Christina Aguilera, and Whitney Houston, as well as music from her Greek Cypriot roots. Natalie's powerful belts and playful lyrics make her distinctive sound even more electrifying. And then she continues to rise with her smash hit Catch 22 and Soul on Fire, hitting 250,000 Spotify streams each, with more than 200,000 YouTube views combined. Her unique artistry and shimmering vocals prove she's the UK's answer to the US powerhouse diva. And then it says she was featured in Wonderland Magazine, Rolling Stone India, previously performed on BBC's Later with Jools Holland as backing vocalist, and has headlined iconic London venues like the Troubadour. So yeah, you out here doing it big. I mean, you're doing it big, and you know I feel the vibe of your music. So yeah, just tell us, what got you started.
Sure. So I grew up in a household that loves music. My mum is a massive fan of music from all cultures, all genres. And so from really little, I was listening to that. And, I had my little toy microphone that I used to, sing along to, and toy piano. And I think growing up, it just became the thing that I knew I wanted to be a singer and a performer, because I was a very, very shy kid. And it was always the thing that I knew would understand me, wouldn't judge me. And I would turn it up in my room and sing, and not even my family knew that I liked to sing, because I would hide it. And I just knew that it was going to be my only career path. And obviously growing up and starting to write lyrics and writing songs, it was a great way to express myself in a world where not many people understood me. So yeah, and I've really just been inspired by so many genres and so many artists, and it's all kind of filtered and mixed into something that's become me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get your first break, or when did you write your first song?
Okay, so I mean, I've been writing since I was really little, since I was maybe 8 or 9, writing lyrics and
Mm,
melodies and things like that. But I didn't release my first song till 2017, which was Red Light, on that
okay.
video. That
Yeah,
was part
yeah.
of a 3-track EP.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, so but in fact, they were demos and they were unmastered and everything. I just wanted to get them out there. I would never do that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
but yeah, so that was the first release. But
Hmm.
I've and it was nice to start with something like that. But I've definitely evolved so much since then.
Yeah. So, okay. So tell us the process of that first release, and what gave you the concept of that song, Red Lights.
Okay, so it was quite funny. I was at the traffic lights,
Hmm.
and the passenger said, just kind of went, ran a red light, ran a red light, and just kind of making some, rubbish up. And I was like, oh my God, that's really cool. And so we went home and we started writing the
Hmm.
song, and the producer came up with a really very simple beat. And I instantly kind of just, it all came together. And I wanted to use red light as a kind of a symbol of, you've been in a relationship before and you've been hurt. So you've
Hmm.
put up a red light to all other
Uh,
relationships,
yeah.
and you've met someone now and you're going to let them run the red light because you think they're worth it.
You know what? That's a cool concept, a way of thinking of things too.
Thank you.
Yeah, because most people is too easily influenced by giving green lights, but
Yes.
sound like you are good about giving red lights.
Oh
So
yeah.
like stopping your tracks right there. uh, yeah. Well, okay. And then you went on to make the video, correct?
Yes. Well,
Okay. How
actually,
was it?
the video came a year later. It was just really just the way it happened. But
Hmm.
um, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I didn't want to just make it all about a relationship, and we were really low on budget. So we just went
Hmm.
to a field outside of London
Mm.
and just filmed me just sort of in different locations. But the concept for me was, if you watch it from the beginning, you'll see
Hmm.
that I've got this special effects makeup on and it looks like I've been in an accident, in a car
Oh,
accident.
okay.
And as the video progresses, the scars fade. And it's like
Mm.
you're now coming into the light, into a better relationship, into a better place. And
Wow.
I had so many different versions, people's interpretations of what the video means, and it's so much fun to
Hmm.
hear them. But that's ultimately what it means. And I wanted to do something that would get people talking. And
Yeah.
I think it did the trick.
It did. It sounds like it. I mean, everything that I seen on your reel, I mean, all those videos look good, and it looks like you have a lot of creativity. So just based off of that video alone, who have you worked with? Who did you work with on that project in regards?
So I've worked with the same videographer since that video. It's an amazing guy called David Brandt here in London, and he's
Mm,
become a great friend as well. And I will just tell him what my vision is, and he'll go,
yeah.
right, okay, let's do this and this. And we try and find the best locations, usually without paying. We can just go and use them. I'll have a chat
Yeah.
with the venues or whatever. And it's really fun. For me, the video is the most fun part of the whole creation of a song. It really just
Right.
allows me to change character, change attitude, and it's just really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then from that project, you went on to which one after that?
So after that, I didn't actually release anything for a couple of years till
Hmm.
2020, just before everything kind of kicked off in 2020.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was in March 2020 I released Poltergeist, which was a totally different sound. It was a lot kind of darker, kind of moody.
Hmm.
And the idea of that was, I loved the word poltergeist and I wanted to just put it into a song. And I kind of thought, if you make it like there's this guy that keeps coming in and out of your life, he's 1 minute
Hmm.
he's there, he turns you upside down, just the same way a poltergeist would come and just tear your house apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and that was Poltergeist. kind of a really, really easy music video as well, because it was shot in the closet under the stairs of my video director.
Really?
A teeny tiny little space,
Oh,
but it was okay
snap.
because I'm pretty small. So
Yeah, I was gonna say y'all didn't get into any poltergeist situations while y'all were filming, did y'all? Yeah, okay.
no, that would have been great actually.
Yeah, like any extra footage, quote unquote, like.
No, sadly not.
Yeah, I was like, man, you getting a little too creative for me. Like, if I was the videographer, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna pass on this one. I'm gonna let the next person get it. Yeah, but nah, you right about Poltergeist. I got a couple exes too that, yeah, that kind of fit that criteria. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, so one thing I noticed about your bio in here is that, and your website, which she has a very, very cool website, is that you've done a lot of touring. You're very consistent with your touring. So tell us how that started, like how you started performing as an artist.
Okay, so as soon as I was kind of old enough to do, like in my early teens, once I finally had this sort of confidence to go in front of an audience, I started performing in my local community, sort of festivals, in the Greek community as well, because that's where my family's from.
Right.
And yeah, just doing as much as I could from that kind of age. And then when I was about 18 or 19, I started to do proper gigs, like showcases and things like that with a live band. And I just love it. Being on stage, for me, is like recording is actually not a very enjoyable experience for me. I much prefer being on stage with that sort of atmosphere and the feeling you get from an audience and a band, so yeah, I just got the bug for it, and I just been trying to be very consistent with booking gigs, and most of them are unpaid because it's original music, but some festivals will be kind enough to give you like a travel budget, for example, or something like that. But I just want to get out there and perform as much as I can, and I do a lot of live streaming as well, which we all kind of went to a couple of years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've continued with it as well, because I've been lucky enough to get a fan base through that. So that, combined with the live gigging here in London, is really important.
So tell us how important it is to perform after or before you bring out a project, and then also, what was your experience with learning how to book shows in the beginning?
Sure. So I think it's really important before you release music to be gigging, because obviously you've got other music that you want people to hear who may not necessarily have heard your other releases. But certainly on the lead up to the release of a single, I'm always trying to book in that month at least kind of 2 or 3 or 4 showcases. Open mic sessions as well, if there's any around. It's just really important to show people that kind of what you've already done, but now this new one's coming up, and let them know that it's going to be out on this date or whatever, and where you can find it. And to have that connection with the audience is really important at whatever stage in your career, for sure.
Yeah, most
definitely. And in terms of booking, I've never had a manager or anything. I do everything myself ever since I was 16, 17, and it was harder when in those days I had to kind of get the Stage magazine, which I don't know if you have it in the States, but it was like it had all the adverts for like gigs, events. Had to trawl through that, call people up, which was really hard for me, because I'm still quite a very shy person, and to actually be out on the phone to someone and be like, hi.
Right. Yeah, like, who are you?
Who are you? I'm like, oh. So yeah, I kind of just always done everything myself. And then now, I mean, I will also email a lot of people. I've got my show reels, I've got social media, which has been a great help as well. but yeah, you just got to keep going. I mean, I get loads of rejections, but out of all those rejections, I may get sort of 10 yeses. You know what I mean? So it's worth it. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, yeah, and you appreciate it. What would you say about appreciating the fact that you do the work, so you really benefit when you get a reward from that? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Versus somebody else doing it for you.
do you know what? It's a right. I mean, it's really, really tough, that whole process for me to put myself out there and keep applying. But I know that doing it is going to be worth it, because even if I get a couple of yeses, I know that I've done it all on my own, and I've had no managers, no label, nothing helping me. And it does feel good, because you kind of think, okay, all those hours of like emailing people or reaching out to people, you know, among that, there's some people there that do believe in you, and that is just worth all the effort and all the heartache.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so,
Well, you know, and with the performing, the reason I even brought that up is the fact that this is how you're going to really truly build a fan base. You
yeah,
know, you can do it on social media. It's a lot harder to do it because people watch, but they might not necessarily buy into you.
yeah,
But if they come and see you play, or they just happen to be somewhere where you play at and they enjoy what you're doing, then you got the buy-in. You
exactly.
know, that's how you get the buy-in. And then after that, once you get a fan, you normally keep that fan.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, with that being said, just being in London and being a global artist and not just a London artist, you know, how does that make you feel? And like, has there been any challenges with your process of being an artist?
So I haven't actually had the opportunity to actually physically go abroad to tour. I've done a lot
Mhm.
of live streaming, and I have a sort of a nice fan base in the States and Latin America especially.
Mm.
I would love to go to both of those places.
Yeah.
um, but it's in London. London is, there's a lot of venues that have closed since the pandemic. It has become a lot harder for independent
Mm.
artists. But it is really important for me to keep that connection with my international fan base and with my British fan base. I think it's
Mhm.
easier to keep the international fan base because I speak many languages, and so when I'm doing the live streams, I can speak in the different language, or I've released a couple of songs in different languages as well, and
Yeah.
that will also kind of sort of build a deeper connection, I think, and one that will hopefully last, because it shows not only my love for their culture, but that I'm
Mhm.
appreciative of them, you know, being my fans and taking the
Yeah.
time to watch my videos or tune into my live streams or whatever it might be. But I would absolutely love to go to the States one day and do a
Yeah, you
tour.
will. You
Oh
will.
my God.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll happen. I mean, just because your music is so marketable, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just by listening to the and watching the reel, you have that marketable type of style. What
Thank
have you learned in as far as marketing your music since you became an artist?
Well, I've learned that it's harder than it looks, especially
Hmm.
if you're on your own. Again, it's a really arduous and tiring process for me. I find social media quite draining as well. But again, it's
Yeah.
something that I have to do.
Hmm.
With the marketing, I've kind of found my groove. When I've got the music video ready, I will chop it up into little teaser sections
Mm.
and put those out in the 2 weeks before the single comes, and talk a bit more about the process of making the song, and, you know, share snippets of the song and things like that. And I think that's my way of marketing. I don't like to go all out kind of, hey, I'm Nathalie
Right.
Miranda, and that's not me.
Right.
I like
Right.
kind of be a bit more indirect about it, but at the same time trying to draw people into my world, and
Yeah.
not, yeah, and not to bombard people either, because I know that
Hmm.
as a consumer myself, I don't like that. I like to sort of, you know, once or twice a week, here's my new
Hmm.
single that's coming up, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So do you agree with like the engagement part has to be organic when it comes to people really wanting to become a fan of yours? And what I mean by that is that I had a conversation the other day with an artist and I said exactly kind of what you just said. Give them the storyline about how you came up with this concept, make it intriguing and interesting, and then you more than likely will have that person like you'll catch them. It's like fishing, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got them on a hook because if they have basically stayed and watched you explain how you brought up this music or video or etc., then they've stayed on long enough to kind of buy into what's going on next, and they're probably
Yes.
interested. So, do you agree with being like the organic process of marketing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. The engagement with the fans as well is really important. You know, I try to reply to as many comments as possible and messages and things like that. I
Hmm.
mean, don't get me wrong, I've used a PR company once or twice,
Absolutely. Hmm.
but it was all kind of organic. There's no fake followers or anything. But
Right.
it was good because it got me a lot of interviews, it got me some radio play, things like that. But obviously it was expensive and I just don't have
Yeah.
that budget anymore. So now I feel like, yeah, my reach may not be as wide because I'm not paying for that promo, but I feel like it's just more me. I feel it's more
Yeah.
authentic, and you know, hopefully it will find its home. The song will find its listener. That's my mindset now, I think.
Mhm. That creativity,
Yeah.
like you said, getting on there, cutting up your video into making them into real shorts and clips,
Yeah.
all of that stuff is very creative. And it's, because one thing I tell artists a lot is that if you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, then you're not standing out. So
Yeah.
you have to make it and sit down and think and ponder on how I can make things interesting, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And
um,
I do like to do things differently. I like to break the rules. I don't like to follow the trends. And I've had a lot of criticism about that from people in the industry. And my
mhm.
stance is always, listen, if you don't like it, that's fine. But I'm not gonna I don't want to sacrifice my artistic integrity just so I
Right.
can fit in your little box and sort of tick your checklist or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Check the
I have
box
to
off.
be, yeah. I have to do it
Hmm.
my way. And if it means that it doesn't go viral or whatever, that's fine.
And
I need
so
to
be
know
it.
that, yeah,
Yeah. Well, and also it's like that's what makes you a global artist versus a local, or regional artist is because
yes, yeah,
sometimes artists like they find themselves in that situation where they have to please the people around them. But if you make your audience a bigger and grow
yeah,
it bigger, then you just kind of do what you want to do,
yeah,
because if the people around you don't like it, you have a bigger audience to
yes,
entertain.
yeah. And I've got a funny story. When I released my reggaeton track last year in
Hmm.
Spanish, one
Mm.
of my really big fans didn't like it. And they were just like, "Oh, how could you do this? I don't like it, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, I didn't know what to say, but I had to say respectfully, I'm an artist and I
Yeah.
wanted to explore this genre. And if you don't like it, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
But you can't please everybody.
You can.
You can't.
Yeah.
So
If you don't like it, don't play it. You know what I'm saying? Play
exactly.
my other song, the one that you like. Yeah. Play the one that you like and don't play this one.
Exactly.
Somebody else will play it. Yeah, but no, it's no hard feelings. You can't take things
Yeah.
personal, as you know, in
Yeah.
this type of business. You
Yeah.
just do what makes you feel comfortable
For
and lay
sure.
the cards out. That
Yeah.
it is what it is. So I do want to talk a little bit about it looks like you've been featured in a couple of publications and you performed on BBC's Later with Jools Holland. So tell us how you got that opportunity.
So the Later with Jools was actually through a friend who was the vocal coach for the British band James. They
Mm.
were huge in the 90s here. and they were performing on Jools Holland in 2018, and they needed an extra backing vocalist because one of the vocalists had dropped out. And so this friend of mine called me just a couple of days before. Natalie, can you do this gig? It's at the BBC. I was like, oh my God, yes, what is it? And when he said later with Jools, I was just like, yes, okay. So
absolutely,
I got the day off work, and I went. It was a really long day from like 8 in the morning till 10 or 11 at night. But it was such a valuable experience because I've done live TV before, but kind of on like Greek TV, which is a much smaller affair, you know. But to be BBC live, and I had to literally learn everything on the spot. I didn't know most of their repertoire, so I was learning it all there. And you know that once it's live, you know, there's no mistakes. And it was just so good to see how everything operates, you know, how quickly everything runs and how there's no room for error. And I think that was a great lesson. So yeah, that was really valuable, and it's nice to watch it. It's on YouTube. I can watch it back and see myself on the BBC.
BBC is huge out there. That's like, that's huge.
But it also gave me a fire inside of me. I was like, you know, one day I'm going to be on here with my music, you know, as Nathalie Miranda.
I mean, you got to take baby steps, but you know, like you said, it motivates you to see how the big guys or gals do it. You know what I'm saying? It's a totally different environment. Like you know, things are different, things that you never think about, like knowing things on the spot, like you said, like, and you know, like you mentioned. So yeah, that's. And what about the connections? What about the networking and the experience to even see them perform live?
Yeah, I mean, I was always a fan of James. They had a couple of massive hits, and I remember them from growing up. It was great to meet them in person, and just talk to them about, you know, their career, their like 30-year career, you know. And it was it was an honor to be around them, and they were such actually down-to-earth people. And you know, I'm still in touch with them, and sadly there was no more work after that with them, but you know, it was something I'll always remember.
And you made that lifelong connection with them, because I mean, how many people do you know can say I'm still connected to them? You know, it's like people don't understand. It's more humble and down to earth celebrities and, you know, superstars than we think. People they see what's on TV. They might see some arrogance and stuff like that and think that everybody's like that, but it's a lot of people that are not like that.
Absolutely.
So a couple more questions. One would be, so the question or the statement that I've made before is that when you get in an opportunity, instead of asking, it's better to offer.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that, let's say you wanted to do something, play a part, you wanted a collaboration or something like that with an artist, big name artist. Do you think it's better to flat out ask or to offer? So instead, asking, hey, can you be on my project, versus, hey, here's an opportunity for us to collaborate, and in turn, I will do this for you. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree with offering, because you don't want to be like, oh, hey, you know, sort of shoving it in someone's face, and not everyone's going to want to, they might not be interested, it might not be their thing, you know. So I've done that many times, you know, hey, this is my stuff, I would really like it if you would feature on this, check it out, what do you think? You know, just give them the opportunity to think about it. And if it's a no, it's fine, you know, just at least you know that you've done it. You've taken that step.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of people kind of get caught up with what they want and not realizing you're asking somebody for something. Yeah. So, you know, that person might not necessarily want anything from you, but keep in mind, you're asking them to do something for you. So it's better, like you said, to offer, you know, anything. It could be anything. It don't have to necessarily be money, because everybody gets caught up with the money. Oh, I can't afford to give any. Yeah, but you're still asking this person for a
Yeah.
favor. So you got, start the conversation with what you can offer them or what
Yeah.
how they can benefit, and then it goes from there.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure, because a lot of artists don't understand that either. And since you've been in the business for a while now, you've had some good experience. But
Yeah.
always, want to ask the artist that's kind of doing it right now their feedback on that. Yeah, and then lastly would be, what do we have in store for the rest of the year going into 2025 for Nathalie Miranda?
Okay, so I think I'm gonna at least release one more song before the year's out, and it's gonna be in French.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Okay.
So I speak French, Spanish, and Greek, and English, obviously.
Nice.
And I've done Greek and Spanish releases, and I really wanted to write something in French. So this year I wrote a French ballad. And it's again in keeping with my whole kind of ethos, which is empowerment, never giving up, and self-acceptance, which I talk about a lot. So yeah, it's recorded, it's just being mixed, and we've got to get it mastered and all that kind of stuff. The video's done as well.
Really? Okay.
It's all ready to go. So I'm hoping perhaps November time that will come out.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it out. And there's probably going to be one or two remixes of my latest release, You Got Soul, which is like a funky 70s throwback. So yeah.
Well, interesting fact, I used to manage an artist from France, so I've actually released several projects in French. So we brought out at least 4 projects in French. In French. So but I love that music. I love their music. I love that language.
It's beautiful. And I kind of used there's a Celine Dion song called Je t'aime encore, which I used as a kind of inspiration for like the structure and things like that. So I just love it, and I can't wait for people to hear it.
Yeah, well, you got to most definitely keep me posted if you get a second. The name of the song that I produced, and the writer and performer name is Daffy Doc, but the name of the song is Je rêve de toi. I dream of you.
Je rêve de toi. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So check it out. But so for any viewers that want to find, collaborate, network with Nathalie Miranda, where would they find you online?
So I'm everywhere, but the easiest way to find me is via my website, which is nataliemiranda.com. And that's Nathalie with a TH. And on there, you can access all my socials. You can find out more about me. And if you like my music, you can sign up to my mailing list for free, and you get a free download of my latest single with that.
Wow. That is that's how you do it. That right there. I tell you, well, I mean, you're doing it well, Nathalie. I commend you, because you have a lot of knowledge, to know how to do this. You're very marketable. So I commend you. I'm looking forward to what you do in the future. And then also thank you for being a part of this series, Women in Entertainment.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and I will let the viewers know to stay tuned. We're going to continue this series at least until the end of the fall, but this actual interview will be rebroadcasted on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. I was about to say Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. So so if you want to share it, or anybody else want to share it, it'll be on those platforms. Thanks again, Nathalie. We will most definitely talk soon. Let me know when the new project drops.
I will. Thank you.
And you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. You too.
All right. And for all the viewers, continue to tune in. We all appreciate it. Make sure you go to Nathalie's website. It's NathalieMiranda.com. Boom. We will talk soon. See y'all later. Peace.
Like a lonely road when you're all alone. Just stay focused, stay in your zone, gotta keep control. You can't love nobody else if you can't love yourself. To change our future, be willing, first we must change ourselves. I wanna pause with your vibe, I gotta pause with your vibe.